Entity Relationship Diagram. Welcome everyone. In this presentation, we will cover what an entity relationship diagram is, and we will have a look at an example as well. Entity relationship diagram is a data modeling tool to model stored data. It shows the so-called entities within a system and the relationship between them. The UML counterpart of ERD is called class diagram. The business analyst uses entity relationship diagrams to model a business area. We will have a look at an example. What are the symbols used to draw an entity relationship diagram? We have entities represented by a box, and we may also show the primary key in the box. What are the entities? Entities are concepts within the data model. Each entity might be considered a container that holds all of the instances of a particular thing in a system. Entities are equivalent to database tables in a relational database, with each row of the table representing an instance of that entity. We also use lines to connect the entities. These lines are called relationships. Relationships are common data elements between entities. Now let's see what kind of relationships can be between the entities. As we said, relationships are common data elements between entities. You may notice that there are symbols at the ends of the relationships on the screen. There are two things that can be indicated on the relationship line. First, the optionality, and second, the cardinality indicator of each relationship. Optionality states whether the relationship is optional or mandatory. Cardinality shows the maximum number of relationships. Optionality is indicated by a circle or a stroke vertical line. If there is a circle, it means the relationship is optional. If there is a stroke, it means the relationship is mandatory. As said, the second symbol indicates cardinality. A stroke signs that the maximum number of relationships is 1. A crow's foot suggests that many such relationships between the related entities might exist. If you look at the first example on the slide, it says that there is one-to-one relationship between entity A and B, and the circle indicates that the relationship is optional. A is related to a minimum of 0, maximum of 1 instance of B. In the second example, there is a one-to-many relationship between entity A and B in a way that one record in the entity B may relate to 0 or more record in entity A. The relationship is optional. Now, the next relationship example is mandatory. Each record in entity A is related to minimum 1 and maximum of many records in entity B. Finally, in the last example, the relationship is mandatory, and it shows that each record in entity B is related to only 1, so minimum 1 and maximum 1 record in entity A. Now let's see an entity relationship diagram example. Let's say we have a database that contains orders, products, and customers. For such a database, we need to have 4 entities: orders, order items, customers, and products. Now we examine the relationship between the entities. We have 3 relationships, 3 lines on the slide between the entities. We will examine them all, one by one. So there is a relationship between orders and order items. If you think about it, what would be true about that relationship? If we have an order, we must have products in it. So there must be at least 1 record in the order items entity or table linking to the orders. How many of those records can we have? Many. So it is a mandatory relationship, and its cardinality is many, as one order may contain many order items. What about looking at this relationship vice versa? If we think about a record in the order items table or entity, to how many orders it may relate? Only 1. Is it a must to relate to an order? Yes. So we know that this is a mandatory relationship, and its cardinality is 1. Our next relationship is between orders and customers. Again, try to think about a real-life situation. A customer can have orders, right? But it is not obligatory, so the relationship is optional, signed by the circle on the line. How many orders a customer can have? 1? No, as many as he or she wants, so the answer is many. So we put there a crow's foot, showing that many such relationships might exist. Now think again vice versa. Does an order need to have a customer? Of course, naturally, so this is mandatory, signed by a vertical line. Is it possible that an order may have many customers? No, so its cardinality is 1. Now try to think about the last relationship between order items and products on your own. Okay, now what kind of relationship is there between order items and products? Think about it and try to draw it yourself. Can one order items contain more than one products? Is it possible that one product shows up in more than one order items? Do you have the answer? Now let's check if you are right. The relationship is mandatory to both directions. We can see that a product may show up in more than one order items. However, one order item may contain only one product. Hopefully, you also have the same solution. Thank you once again for your time and attention, and this is businesstraining.com, where you can earn a master's level qualification to make more money.